Welcome to Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. Divine Kika is a radiant force, overflowing with positive energy, guiding you to a heart-opening, blissful, authentic tantric experience. This show will help you to expand your joy, cultivate more intimacy in your life, and rediscover the pleasure within your personal relationship. Dive in and discover untapped intimacy and true joy for yourself or with your beloved. Bring back the harmony and happiness that you long for. Let's begin an unforgettable journey that will leave an imprint on your heart and soul forever. Welcome to Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. Here's your host, Divine Kika.
Welcome to another edition of the Tantra Lounge. My name is Greg, and I'm here with the host of the show, the wonderful, the lovely Divine Kika. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
It's good to have you. You look happy today. You're beaming.
Yeah?
You're always beaming, though. I've said that many times.
I got some good love in. That
you
makes
did?
a difference.
That's what it is. This glow.
I always get some good love in.
A natural glow happens when you get good love. I've learned.
I'm loving myself well, too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
God, there's so much to be said. There's so much to know about all this. This is an exciting show, and I'm sure that has something to do with your glow as well, because we have a lot happening within this 55 minutes. When I say that, we have to talk about a big project and a big passion of yours, which we're going to start off with. But later on in the show, we're going to listen back to an interview you did with a gentleman named Destin Gerek, who he's a dynamic sexual and spiritual empowerment coach. He is a former filmmaker and celebrated performer, and he's world respected, and he's going to talk about orgasmic mastery and ejaculation control. Very important topics for most couples.
Yes.
To make sure that you're a satisfying lover.
being.
For everyone, correct. But mostly, I think for couples, it's very important. We always talk about that, how important it is you're satisfying your partner in some way. He will talk to you about how to lengthen your sessions so that both people are getting the proper amount of pleasure, correct?
Yes.
Am I on point?
Something like that. You're really getting a lot from this. I hope that your girlfriend is really happy.
I hope she is too.
I think it's improving your sexual life, isn't it?
I really do believe it is. And I think the more I go along with this and the more I learn, the more open I am to trying things that I might have been a little stubborn about in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Because I now know how both people are as invested in a relationship, and in that, sex is such a huge part of a relationship.
Yes. That
if you're not doing your part, eventually either they're going to be unhappy, they're going to leave, or they're going to be completely miserable with you. And that's, for ego, it takes a big hit. So
it creates disharmony.
Yeah.
If there's no happiness in the bedroom, I believe.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so important when we talk to our audience that you fill us with all this information. And that I think before we get to Destin later, can you tell us a little bit about what Destin will be discussing and what you guys went over?
One of the things that Destin talked about, which is like for women, is way more easy for us to have like multiple orgasms. It's
right.
Like for some of us, the ones that are awakened, and it's not everybody is able. Everybody can have a multiple orgasm. Everybody can tap into that world and enter the valley of orgasm, like we talked about before. But not everybody know how. But for men, when they are learning ejaculation control, or when they have ejaculation control and they are with a partner that is orgasming over and over again, and they're making love with that person, and they're not experiencing multiple orgasms,
right?
That will affect that they start to get jealous
of their partner.
It's like, wait, my partner is like orgasming all this time, and I'm here holding my ejaculation,
right,
as a man, holding my seed, holding myself,
right,
and trying to practice the ejaculatory choice,
right.
And it's difficult. It's a process. It is very hard for me.
And I remember you saying way back early on when we first started this show, you told me sometimes men should do more to hold off on releasing, because sometimes the pleasure is that moment or two or three before you release. So therefore, it's like you have an extended pleasure. And once you do release, it's almost like you have to stop and start over and take your time and recover. Whereas that process of just almost getting there, but not quite, is almost as exciting and as empowering.
It is an orgasm.
Yeah.
It is an orgasm. It's just like, another thing is like, sometimes the man could having an orgasm that he's actually pulsating and feeling the sensation, but not being aware that he is orgasming.
Right.
That's possible.
That's very true. I never thought of that.
Yeah, because, so in Tantra we call it this edge of the waterfall, like this, like almost there, but not, and then staying in there. And the edge can be very delicious.
Right.
It's
I love the edge.
A delicious place to be.
Right.
And stay there for a long time and go back. And I like to breathe and go back in there. And I recommend that everybody do that.
Right.
But it's very easy to go, oh, it's too good.
I gotta let it go.
I just want to go.
Yep. Taking it all the way. Because that's what happens. You get to the point where you're like, you're almost ready to, it's like it's like going skiing, and you get off the ski lift, and you're standing at the top of the hill, and you're like, I'm going to take in all this beauty. I'm going to look it in and really soak it all up. And then you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go down the hill. And then when you get down the hill, you're like, well, it's all over, and no longer can you look at the beauty from above. And I think that's sort of the same.
Well, if you fall the wrong way, you might get touched.
Yeah, you end up getting hurt. You hit a branch along the way, and everything's ruined.
Girlfriend mad. It's a big mess.
I forgot what I was talking about for a while. I'm like, why would she be mad that I went down the hill? Now I remember. But yeah, no, that's so true, though. I think it's that point of living in that moment before release is pretty amazing if you can somehow train yourself to stay there.
Exactly.
Long
so
enough.
there's Mary Simon, which is an amazing Tantra teacher. I love her. She has this amazing voice, just like the most sweet Tantra teacher I know. And she said, 7 is heaven, 8 is great, 9 is like where 9 is great. 9 is
divine.
Where
9
is
is divine.
9 is divine. 9 is where you want to be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could say that with my teacher.
Yeah,
9 is divine.
Because you're divine. But then again, you're more of a 10.
But staying that edge is so difficult.
Right.
And when we learn how to stay in the edge and bring that energy up, and then bring our brain, excite our psyche, bring that energy, open new neural pathways, open new ways of understanding life in every level.
Right.
And then there's something like they made these studies that the woman orgasming, how it lights different parts of their brain. And that's amazing. What
I would
can
love
do
to
for
see
you.
that, how the brain is.
I should include
works.
that on our site.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing to see what's actually happening in your brain when you're going through that process of building it up.
Yeah, there's more and more studies about that right now. So is meditation, fire up something, but we want to create new neural pathways to rejuvenate, to feel better about ourselves, to heal our past. For many reasons, we want new neural pathways. And one of the ways is holding our orgasmic energy, bringing it up to all of our energy centers in our body and circulating it.
Okay.
So how does that look like, right? Because
it probably looks like a big red blotch somewhere on your brain, all that pressure, all that blood flow.
Like in practice, how do you do that? It's like take a deep breath from your genitals all the way to the top of your head. Like you're sucking a straw
from down there up
from
to
your genitals, from your perineum, all the way up to the top of your head, like that. It shout out and then exhale with a sound, and then you catch it again, and it's kind of like that cycle.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. So you almost have to find the cycle, though. You have to know in your body, right?
That's something new for your bedroom.
Okay, what? I'm like, all of a sudden I started looking for a pen. What is that?
So here's the thing. So when you are in that stage, like you are in that 7 and it's starting to get juicy, well, my invitation to you is like take a deep breath and bringing it up through your spine all the way to the top of your head and exhale with a big sound. Why? Because the sound expands your feeling, expands the energy of pleasure. A lot of women,
a groan of some kind? Or a moan?
Something like that. Like Tantra people are always doing that sound. You go to a Tantra workshop, people walking on the walkways. Everybody's like, It's just
I love it. I can't wait to go to one of these Tantra workshops to hear all this.
That's a lot of moaning.
Oh, it'd be so
just walking.
Sensory overload, of course. But so how then, when I make that release and I make that sound, it'll almost is it a release? Is that what it is? It's
so what I like to say is like
tension?
you bring that energy up and imagine that it's traveling up through your spine all the way up, and then it's coming out through your mouth, and you're like, like you're projecting that energy out and catching again with your genitals.
Right.
So what you're doing is you're circulating your sexual energy.
All right.
And as you circulate, the energy will amplify.
And does that really, when it comes to your
To ejaculation.
breathing, no, how do you tie that to your breathing? So, because I know that's a big part of it.
So inhale.
Yes. But you're already moving, your heart rate's going now. So breathing long, deep breaths are very difficult.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's like you slow the breathing, which will help you to control your ejaculation.
Right.
And as a woman, if I'm close to my clitoral orgasm or to any orgasm, if I want to hold on and make it really strong, what I do is I just have a lot of those breaths, and I don't let myself all the way go. So this is what you do when you're on the edge.
Okay.
So this is $1 million tip.
I get that.
Maybe 10 million.
Probably
I don't know.
way more than $1 million.
How much does it cost to have longer, stronger
It's
orgasm?
there's no price
So
on it.
here you go. This is the way to quadruple the length of your orgasm. You ready?
I'm ready.
Take a deep breath. Inhale. The more sound you make, the more pleasure you feel.
Okay.
Now, when you're like close, you back off a little bit, slow the breath, slow the movement, and then do that breathing.
Go right back to it.
And then go back.
I used to do something where I would
I like to
think
circulate it
whenever I
at
was
least 10 times before an orgasm, because that will make that orgasm.
see interesting. What I've always used to do was I would think of a baseball game. I'm like, I wonder what the Yankees are doing today. Are the Yankees playing tonight? Just to get my mind off of what was at hand and allow me to distract. What? That's okay. I had to do whatever I had to do in my juvenile brain in order to get me to the point of holding off, because I had to think of something that got my mind off of this extreme pleasure. So I would immediately, in that moment, oh my God, I'm going to lose it. Wait, are the Yankees on today? Yes, the Yankees are on. I wonder if they're winning right now. You know, it's funny. I haven't watched it.
You helped so much.
If the Yankees only knew how they helped my sex life for so many years, especially when I was young, that was all I would go to was sports, because it was the only thing that wouldn't really turn me on. Everything else was a turn on. God forbid I did something, or I think of food. I'd be like, wait a minute, I want meatloaf. I'm like, meatloaf is so good.
Don't think about your grandma or somebody completely.
No, I'm not thinking, no family members, because God forbid that I finished on that note, it would be scarring. So it was
Thanks, Grandma.
no thanks, actually. So instead, I would use sports, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. You know, I think, or
whatever it takes. But there's better ways.
Yeah.
There's
Okay,
like
well, I'm
there's
learning.
I give you guys one tip. You want one tip?
Another $1 million tip.
Another $1 million tip. There's a very simple thing that men can do is this. Like put the tongue behind the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to slow the breath, slow the movement.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to exhale, like inhale, and exhale. Tongue behind the teeth.
So it's coming through your teeth, the air. Sounds like steam is
and
escaping.
then she's going to go, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing, honey?
I'm going to be sure to explain this beforehand.
Focus.
She's going to be like, is that steam coming out of your head?
Focus.
Yeah.
Focus.
I know. I thought you said something else, actually, and I was like, yes, no.
She's going to say focus.
Yes. Focus. Now, okay, so I'll have to explain this beforehand, so that way she understands why I'm making a strange face, strange
Honey, I'm
sound.
going to do something like this.
Don't be
freak out.
alarmed.
It's okay. But you can do it subtle, right? Like,
Yes.
And that works for some. There's so many ways. This is one way. That is like, you know, I'm producing an online course now for men for that, and there is so many ways. And a lot of men ask, how can a woman teach about this? How dare she?
Well, they obviously don't know you.
She is.
You're the expert.
And I'm the woman that for the last over a decade, like, you know, I have been teaching men and women how to amplify, extend the length and the strength of their orgasmic power, and to understand all that is about their orgasmic mastery and what it is that is being an orgasmic, powerful human being today, and how does it affect your life. And And I have helped hundreds of men to achieve
probably
ejaculation.
way more than that when you think about it. Just
Men
people listening.
and women. But I mean, we're talking about ejaculatory choice. I have helped so many men, and then women to become multi-orgasmic. Women
Right.
to really find their power, to really find their sensuality, and through that orgasmic power.
Well,
Through female ejaculation. Well, we can't say that on radio. I think you're going to beat me right
it's
there.
all right. I don't know. Actually, we'll see how it goes. But
Just beat me there.
I'll beep you. I like to beep.
So the woman can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Divine Kika. I'm here to invite you to my new radio show, this and every Saturday at midnight, to inspire you to create loving, happy, fulfilling relationships in your life and have the best sex ever. I'll teach you tantric sex secrets never known before to spice your life and to give you greater joy. Join me this and every Saturday at midnight. Divine Kika Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. For more information, go to divinekika.com.
And I guess this is a lot of what's going to be discussed as well when we play back that interview with Destin, Destin Gerek, of course, because he dedicated his life really to figuring out how to control his release, because it became so important to for him to be a better lover, and he was probably feeling inadequate, as a lot of men will after especially when you don't really know how. Other than exercising that muscle specifically, you don't really know how to go about correcting this problem. And it is a problem.
It is a problem. It is a problem. It generates frustration. It generates pain. And when we talked about this before, but when it's associated with pornography addiction for men, it's awful.
Yeah.
Because then
because it's always a quick finish. It's just like, you go in, you're like boop, 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 and it's done, and you go back to what you're doing 5 minutes later. It's a quick fix. It does nothing to help to extend your satisfaction.
Yeah. So there is a great TED Talk on pornography addiction that I'll be posting on Tantra Lounge Facebook page. I would love if we did it in the station page too.
I'd love that, yeah.
It's very powerful how the same brain chemicals that fire out in the brain when you have a drug addiction or other addictions that are really strong, they're the same when people do pornography. That's pretty scary.
That's pretty powerful. Do you have this on hand? Can we get this up on the site?
Oh, absolutely.
I think this
is
I love TED
it's
Talk.
It's an amazing TED Talk. The guy that did it, they did amazing work on that. And it's a very impactful. I showed that to my 13-year-old son.
Really?
And I said, look, you need to know this. You need to learn this. You need to learn that I don't want you to, because he's in the computer. I'm watching what he's doing in the computer, but to an extent, because they have so many electronic devices, it's almost impossible.
They know more than we do.
And the truth is, boys start to do that about 11 years old. It's pretty sick.
I know. I started young.
You did?
I started because
How old were you?
I was probably 11 or 12 when I found a bunch of tapes, VHS tapes, to date myself, in the garbage of the neighbor. And there was a bunch he threw out a bunch of X-rated videos, and I was like riding by on my bike.
Lucky
boy. Me and my friends, we were like, we hit the lottery. If you saw my friends and I, we were running around in circles. They were probably the people in the neighborhood are like, what's going on with those boys? We were so happy, and we all took some. And all I did really know at that time, again, being 11 or so, was just put it in and watch it. And I was like, oh my Lord. I had seen Playboy and those kind of simple, like, basic nude women, but now this was a whole other level, and I remember being just enamored by it and just watching it, not knowing really what was happening within me and how I was getting excited. I just was excited to watch this X-rated porn. So that was a young age, and I think it just, as I figured it out a little more over time, it became more of an addiction. I remember thinking, I can't wait to get home from school today so I can go watch more porn.
Well, this is the thing. If a guy is doing that 2-3 times a day, it's a big problem. If he's doing like twice a week, okay, not really, because it's still going to damage your brain a little bit. But if you're doing that once or twice a month, cool, no problem.
It's almost just
not a big deal.
It's an exercise.
But if you're doing it every day, twice a day, you have a problem.
Yeah.
A big problem.
I do agree with you.
I'm sorry to say that, and I know a lot of people are going to go, I have scientific proof on that video. That is a problem.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what you said. It's the same neuropath as an addict would have. And I've heard and you could probably tell me if this is right or wrong, that people who develop a flair for the eccentric, like in other words, if you really are into strange, weird sexual deviance, that it's hard for you to have regular sex. I don't want to think of anything too outrageous, but let's just say something
painful.
That's maybe painful. Yeah, let's say painful or illegal. Sometimes it's hard for you to really be turned on by just another woman.
But that's like a lot of psychological issues that come into play with that. And sometimes it's just people want an adventure, but I think a lot of those come from serious trauma.
Do you not believe, though? So let's say...
So the pornography can cause that, too.
Right, because if you watch a lot of porn...
There's a lot of... And then the diminished woman, some of the porn are really...
Yeah.
Abusive towards women, and it's okay to play in there. That's what is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
How come it's okay to be there?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's all...
Cigarettes are still okay to be sold, so...
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's all relative. But I do find that to be one of those strange things about porn, is that some people get so addicted to it that they don't even want the real thing anymore. They'd rather be in front of their computer with tissues than be with their lover.
No idea how many men have come to my office with that addiction, and women. I believe have seen women addicted to pornography as well, or to their nice machines, which can desensitize.
Oh, and it could ruin a man's life because he's no longer needed. At least
it's not even that, but it desensitizes the whole area, so then later on she won't feel anything.
Yeah.
So ladies, if you have a toy that you really like, that you play, like, I don't know, what could be a toy? Any kind of toy.
Yeah. One that moves and vibrates. Okay.
If your friend Bob has been calling you every night, you have a problem.
Yes. But if your friend doesn't call you every night and it's just once a month, not a problem.
Not a problem. Not a big deal.
Okay.
But you can desensitize your stuff.
Okay, I never knew that. I didn't know you would. Really
it's serious, and then I help women to wean off of that, which is another process.
Well, we're running low on time before we have to do the other segment, which I don't want to miss out on your topic.
So I just want to say that this was recorded a couple years ago, and we were going through some files, and I'm about to interview Destin again, but I think this is so yummy, this is so good, that I want to put it out there today, and I want people to really watch it.
It's a lot of information, and I know there's a bit where you're interviewing him, and then there's some where he's interviewing you as well. So it makes a little interesting spin on this. But I feel like we'll learn a lot from this interview. Again, Destin Gerek is his name, and he's going to teach us a little bit about ejaculation control and orgasmic mastery. I guess that's what he's teaching at this point.
Yeah. And he has this thing where he felt like women were having all this sensation and pleasure, and he was left out.
Okay.
So he did this course for men, so they could feel too.
Okay. This should be very... Really cool. I'm excited to listen to this. So we'll
I'm doing the same course too. We are both on the same... Yeah.
I mean, this is really intriguing. I learned a little bit in the beginning here from you, and now I'll get to hear some of your thoughts with somebody who's purely an expert along with you, as opposed to me and my silly layman terms.
Okay, it's being such a joy to talk to you every week.
I love it. I learn so much. So it's like every week is like a fountain of knowledge that I get to leave here and try and incorporate into my love and my romance and my sex life.
I hope all the listeners do the same. I'm really... Like, that's why I'm here.
I think that's why the show is growing.
Everybody to
because of
have a better sexuality, to live in their power and their passion.
Yes. So we'll get to that in just a few. And thanks to everybody who's listening. And again, watch the video online. You want to tell everybody where to go for your
So just go to divinekika.com and click on Tantra Lounge.
Yeah.
It's right there. All the videos are there, and subscribe to my YouTube.
I was going to say your Facebook page too. It'll take you to your
Facebook page. Yeah, Tantra Lounge. Just look us up. Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio.
Beautiful. Stay tuned for Destin Gerek next.
We all know the physical aspects of sex, but we rarely hear of the spiritual side. 10 Tantric Sex Secrets for Greater Sex, Love, and Intimacy Tonight by Divine Kika will bring you extraordinary bliss. This titillating and easy-to-read book will transform your ordinary sex life to breathtaking, amazing, powerful. Great for beginners, let this book be your first step to a happier love life. 10 Tantric Sex Secrets for Greater Sex, Love, and Intimacy Tonight. Available in hard copy, ebook, and audio format at divinekika.com. That's divine, Kika.com.
I'm real excited about your new book, 10 Tantric Sex Secrets. And it's really beautiful that you came out with this, and so I'm hoping that everybody can find it and read what she's written here and take a great start to your own tantric journey and take a look at this sweet book. It's a great little pamphlet, it's easy to read, and Kika's just wonderful.
Hi, I'm Divine Kika with TantricSexSecrets.com, and I'm here today. I am thrilled because I'm with the super hot, erotic rock star, Destin Gerek. And we kind of are working in the same project, which he's already done, and I have so many questions for him, and I'm so excited. I would like to know a little bit about your journey in making the multi-orgasmic man, is that what you call it?
Orgasmic Mastery.
Orgasmic Mastery. I would like to know your journey doing that.
First, I'm just going to acknowledge the fact that you've left me blushing from your introduction, and it's just an honor to just be included in this. I started the Orgasmic Mastery course, I don't know, about 4.5 years ago. In many ways, well, I've been teaching about sexuality in one form or another for over 16 years, and one of the areas that I was very interested in and intrigued about was on having total choice over when or if I ejaculate, lasting as long as I wanted to, as well as, a lot of it was inspired by the experiences I was having with my partners, and seemingly I got very good at giving, and I'd be experiencing these women in my life go into these incredible full-body orgasmic experiences that would just like go on and on and on and on, and I'd be there like, I mean, that's awesome, but why do I not have any like personal connection to that? Like, I don't experience that. Like, this is good, I like it, but I don't feel that. You're going out into orbit. And I was jealous, envious, and I was really doing a lot of looking into it. A lot of what I was finding is, sorry, that's for women. A lot of women never experience orgasms at all or have a hard time with it, but women who really tap into their orgasmic potential have incredible possibility that's just beyond what men can experience. I didn't really like that answer. It's at like 19 I came across Montauk Chia's The Multi-Orgasmic Man book, and I was thrilled. I was like, this is it, and I couldn't get into it. The way it's written, the languaging, at the time I had zero concept of things like energy and all these Taoist-based practices I just couldn't connect to. So I couldn't even get through the book, and I just tossed it to the side after a while. But years later, I found my way to becoming multi-orgasmic, and I was like, at one point I realized that I was regularly having these experiences that most men didn't even realize was possible. And the teacher in me was like, how do I teach this? How do I transmit this? So I kind of went on this process of reverse engineering my experience. Well, what am I doing? What are all the little pieces? And I broke it down to all these different parts. And I wanted to make it as simple as I could. Like, what are the different components, and how can people learn those components piece by piece, integrate them into their bodies, and without all this unnecessary theory, let's get it real, let's get it in the body. And orgasmicmastery.com was more.
And how was the experience when you first start to realize that you're having these multiple orgasms as a man, that you start to notice energy moving in your body? What does that do for you as a man? What does that create in your life in general?
Well, honestly, I think it's a completely different way of relating to sex. I feel that the way in which we're kind of, as a man, trained to relate to sex is very, you start at A, there's a B finish line, let's get there. and a lot of this journey for me was about letting go of any there, getting really present, and tuning into subtle sensations. Again, as men, I think that we learn a lot about kind of numbing ourselves to our bodies and numbing ourselves to our feelings. And this, for me, was a lot of a path of reversing that, really embracing my body and really embracing like what it's telling me. A lot of people think that the problem with men who come too quickly is that they're too sensitive. I disagree. I think it's that you're not sensitive enough. It's that there are things going on in your body that you don't even realize it until you're there. And so the path that I teach is really about getting you to pay more attention to what's going on, more attention to what's going on in your body, more attention to what's going on in your partner's body. So what does that do for me? I mean, it makes me a better lover. It gives me a good reputation amongst the ladies. But honestly, I think that it gives me a better experience of life in general, as I'm more present with life and I'm able to enjoy and experience all of the little subtle pleasures of what this life has to offer. Beyond just the big things that you can't ignore.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That's great. So you're talking about some things that you found that some men did your course and then they did great, and then they could really experience that, and that's really possible, and I can only imagine for those men how amazing that was. But some of them had resistance, or they didn't believe that they could achieve the full body orgasm without ejaculation, that they couldn't get there. There was just certain people that could do it. And you said that you found the magic that can shift that, and so anyone can do it. Would you like to talk about it?
Sure. Though I got very curious as hundreds of men were going through the course, why certain men were having incredible success with it and some men weren't having any. And I'm the teacher in me wanted to figure this out, and what can I do to have more and more men have a successful experience with this. And the conclusion that I came to is that the single biggest thing that made the difference between men who didn't really get much from it and men who had extraordinary success with it was their belief in it being possible for them. And I guess first and foremost, I want to tell you that yes, this isn't just something special about me, or there's certain few others who can do this. Like, we all have the same physiology. The possibility exists within you. It's really like anything else in life. It's about how much attention and energy are you giving to this. But if you really dedicate yourself, I know that the course that Kika's created, as well as the course that I've created, it's a journey. It requires your time, your patience, your persistence, your energy. And at some point during it, you may hit a little wall, a little point of I don't know what's going on here, I don't seem to get past here. That is not the time to give up and say, well, I guess this is not for me. That is a time to realize, well, here, at that place where you're experiencing the most resistance, I want you to know right now that that is where the most powerful shift in your life is going to come. On the other side of that is I want to say magic. It is, you're running into a challenge point there because there's something missing in your current reality. By crossing that threshold, and it may happen quickly, it may take time, but it's persistence. It's just, okay, I don't know what it is, but let me try it again, let me try it again, let me try changing a little something, let me try it again. Maybe I need some outside help or try another resource, but maybe it's just a little tweak. That's what I found. Sometimes it's just the tiniest little tweak that makes all the difference, and then something that's been like troubling you for years, decades, as far back as you can remember, suddenly isn't an issue anymore. And as I said, on the other side of that, it's like, freedom.
Divine Kika is an international Tantra master, author, seminar leader, relationship and sex coach. She will teach you to master your sexuality and self-awareness so you can experience fulfillment and happy relationships while living a life of love, power and passion. She guides you achieve the love life you have always wanted and have the best sex ever. If you want to create a truly happy relationship or to manifest your perfect partner, sign up for private video coaching through Skype and start creating the life you want now at www.divinekika.com.
So I believe that when a man have control of his ejaculation, and when a man find with himself how to find his own pleasure and to move his sexual energy throughout his body and become multi-orgasmic with himself, which is a practice that is done alone. And it takes a lot of time using masturbation as a prayer, masturbation as a meditation. And once the man achieves that, there is no problem approaching a woman or being with a woman or pleasuring a woman. And I would love to know, how do you feel as a man having that?
Well, I think Kika is right there in that when you know that you have mastery over your own sexual energy versus it controlling you, versus ejaculation just being something that happens to you, and rather it's something that you have choice over, rather your sexual energy, feeling your turn on, and how you direct that turn on and your sexuality is fully under your control. It shifts how you walk through the world. You walk taller. You engage with a sense of confidence. When you
center. You come from a power center.
Yeah. When you know that you could leave any woman that you sexually connect with feeling pleasured and satisfied, you're probably going to engage with women that you're attracted to in a different manner. So that is one powerful reason and motivator to really commit yourself to gaining this level of orgasmic mastery or ejaculatory control, however you'd like to call it, because it affects more than just your performance in the bedroom, but how you engage with women in every part of your life.
Position yourself in the world. How do you walk? How do you connect? How do you talk to people? How do you live your life? Yeah, I see like men that are, corporate men or CEOs that come and do. I've been working with men for 10 years. And when I graduate them, I do this beautiful ceremony where they go through this process of engaging with me, and like where we move sexual energy with each other in that ritual. They're both fully clothed, but if they learn how to really move their sexual energy and be in their power with their heart open and their sexual energy fully open. And when they have control of their ejaculation, that they went through the program, that they learn all the tools, something beautiful shift on them. That for me, they become so much more attractive, so much easier to be with, because there is no insecurities in there. Because as a woman, I want that man to generate safety for himself, that he feels good being with himself, So when I connect with him, I don't want to be taking care of him that way. I want him to feel good about himself already. And then I feel good about myself, and then we both connect as equals. And that's beautiful when that happens.
I think you nailed it right there in regards to the insecurities, that when you don't know how long you're going to last this time, or oh my god, she's so hot, am I going to be able to?
Jeez, in my pants.
Then, you know, how confident are you going to be when you're talking to her? And women are so sensitive to these things. She may not be able to name, you know, I think that guy's afraid he's going to come too quickly with me. But probably not, but she will notice, nah, he just doesn't do it for me. I just don't feel him. What she means is she doesn't feel your power. She doesn't feel you in your power. She doesn't feel you in your sense of confidence. She doesn't feel you in your sense of security in yourself. And if you're not able to hold those things within yourself, she's not able to feel fully able to feel safe and relax and open to you. And it's in that place of safety and being able to open to you that her powerful orgasmic potential really unfolds.
And that feels good. When I can go there, that the man can hold that kind of space for me, is so sacred. And before I thought that, you know, only other Tantra teachers could do it. And then so for a while I just dated Tantra teachers. that was a phase in my life. And I realized that, you know, like I had boyfriends that I had to kind of like guide them through the process and bring them there. And once they were there, oh my God, there was this beautiful, powerful man with me. And I realized that any man can get there. Anyone can get there. If you have a lingam and a penis and you ejaculate and you have, you know, every now and then you have erections. And even if you're not having erections, it could be a block. It could be something that emotionally is triggered or something that can also be healed. So I believe that any man can feel that way and can expand the potential for pleasure, for feeling confident, to feel good about themselves, and to connect deeper with women and have more fun in their lives. Everybody's happier.
And have the women in your lives have a lot more fun as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, so thank you, Kika. I think that we've touched upon some very powerful things. And if you don't already have that total mastery, total choice over if and when you ejaculate, an ability to experience orgasms that are more than just in your, you know, lingam, your penis, but orgasms that move through your whole body or even move all through your partner's body, then, you know, check out her program through tantricsexsecrets.com. Preferably my own program, orgasmicmastery.com, and between the two of them, you're in very good hands.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to Tantra Lounge.
Sex Talk Radio.
Divine Kika is a radiant force, overflowing with positive energy, guiding you to a heart-opening, blissful, authentic tantric experience. This show will help you to expand your joy, cultivate more intimacy in your life, and rediscover the pleasure within your personal relationships. A lot of people have questions out there about Tantra. I think there's a lot of misconceptions, would you say? Some misunderstandings about what it's all about?
Yeah. When I say I'm a Tantra teacher, people look at me like I wish I could show you their faces. They have these big eyes and like a little... You know, when excitement, it's like a little bit of fear and a little bit of nervous, and they look with these big eyes and a big smile because a big part of them is really curious about what it is.
Of course.
But then there is a little bit fear. So it all means excitement.
I think so. It's a stimulating topic.
Tantra is a path like Zen or yoga that uses sexuality as a door to awareness.
That's right.
And then Tantra is also choosing with awareness what brings us joy. Now, if we're expanding that, like what is really be conscious enough, knowing oneself enough, knowing your surroundings, knowing what your deepest desires, fears, emotions, and send that into how can I bring more joy into my life? And from that joy, expand throughout all those around me.
Absolutely. You know, I think that when it comes to Tantra and sex, it's such a hot topic. Of course, people are interested in it. Of course, they want to hear about it. They want to talk about it. But really, it's just scratching the surface of it. Although sexuality is very much embraced in Tantra, it is really not the primary focus or point.
Hey everyone, this is Destin Gerek, and I am here today with Divine Kika, this exotic Brazilian hot mama who I'm blessed to share this with here. Why don't you say hi to our audience?
Hello, I'm Divine Kika.
She is the creator of the Way of the Tantric Man series and the starting point of teaching around ejaculatory control. Can you say a little bit, as a woman, what you want men to get out of the Way of the Tantric Man?
The Way of the Tantric Man. I'm here, I have this desire before of creating a world where my sisters are really happy about the men around, because I always hear women complaining that there's no good men out there. And I said, in my life, there is a lot of great men. And how do they become a great man? It's because I'm around a lot of Tantra teachers, Tantric men, or men that are in the Tantric path. And I thought, why don't I create not just for my retreats or private sessions, but a way that anyone can learn it. And so it's out there on the web, and it's available to anyone. And
so when you say it, what's it?
It's a series of classes and meditations and teachings, ancient tantric wisdom with modern wisdom, with Taoism, with, you know, all this mixed up with Kika juice.
With Kika juice? That sounds good.
It's like this big pan of stuff. And it has a lot of the heart therapy, which is ways to overcome childhood traumas and ways to overcome how to approach a woman, ways of how to overcome pain on the body. How do I feel good about myself at the point that I can celebrate my sexuality, and as a man to be able to really fully enjoy and feel that, oh, I'm not ejaculating and I'm enjoying so much my sexuality. I'm enjoying my body. I'm feeling energy moving. I'm feeling my breath. I'm being completely present, one with this woman, and then I have this rush of energy. We're both orgasming all this time. And actually, some men can get into the wave and stay in the state of orgasm for a long time, not just having multiple orgasms, but stay in the state of orgasm. And that shift, and that shift, yes, it's amazing, the sexuality and the open, but why we are doing this? Why we want to achieve this pleasure? Why we want to be healthy? Why we want to connect? Why we want to love one another? It's really to achieve that union where we feel one with everything, where we feel one with the whole universe, where we really embrace our divinity and we can fully be. And I think that's where we really, and that being goes to everyone in the lives of the people that experience the course. It's not just, okay, here's this man did this course for 12 weeks or so, he was there, but I know that will impact the life of all the women and men in this man's life. Yeah. And that's the juice.
That's the juice?
That's the juice.
Plus a little Kika juice.
That's the Kika juice.
So, do you have just a little tip that you could give the men watching this that they can bring into their lives now?
Now, I think the most beautiful gift any man can give to a woman, it's exactly what you're giving me right now. Like being fully present. Fully present. That is, you're not going anywhere, you're totally here with me. You're not thinking what you want of me or where are we going, we're just enjoying each other's presence so deeply that you're allowing me to see you so deep into your soul, and I'm allowing you to see deeply into my soul.
Yeah, I'm not like pulling out my cell phone and playing around on it while we're talking here.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, let me check.
Do my status updates and work on my to-do list for work, and
yeah,
or sitting here and fantasizing about somebody else sitting here with me instead,
or seeing me naked, perhaps.
Well, now that you mention it.
But that being present fully here, that you also are feeling your body, you're aware of who you are, of your energy field, of your spirit, and you can bring all that into this moment with me. And I think that's the most beautiful gift any man can give to a woman, and it starts right there. That's the starting point.
So tip number 1 from Kika is presence. Getting out of all the mental spinnings of the mind and just getting into your body and being fully here now.
Yeah.
And with the person you're connecting with.
Yes. Completely present.
Thank you, Kika.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing all the offerings that you roll out.
Divine Kika is an international Tantra master, author, seminar leader, relationship and sex coach. She will teach you to master your sexuality and self-awareness so you can experience fulfillment and happy relationships while living a life of love, power, and passion. Achieve the love life you have always wanted and have the best sex ever. For life-changing relationship advice and great lovemaking tips, visit divinekika.com. That's divine, Kika.com.
So Kika, can you share with us a little bit more about tantricsexsecrets.com and your way of the Tantric man?
Absolutely. The way of the Tantric man, and it's a way to become the Tantra man in this world, is the Tantric secrets from 4,000 years ago for the modern man, for to use today in your everyday life. When you come from work and you're stressed and you're tired and you don't have enough energy, is for that. It's for you to wake up in the morning energized and feeling fulfilled and feeling that you have inside of you all that you need to be completely fulfilled and happy with yourself. And from that place, then when you have a beloved or a partner that you choose to celebrate your sexuality with, then it's the whole juice, and then you have that huge bag of tools that you're going to become irresistible. She can just not help but be overwhelmed with pleasure. And when she can be overwhelmed with pleasure, and you are overwhelmed with pleasure, and you both can meet and expand energy where you both are growing together, we have that ability to meet and expand and bring light to each other and enliven each other's life and bring more love to the world. And that's what I would like to bring to your life, to yourself, to the people around you, that you radiate your life. Being Tantric means that you can expand your energy. And people that do Tantric, look at this gorgeous man. We become radiant. We have this radiance. We have this radiance around us as this magnetic energy that we bring out. And it's because we let the most powerful energy in our bodies, that's our sexual energy, to expand and go throughout our spine and awaken every part of our being. So every cell is awake and alive. And that awakening and that aliveness heal your organs, heal your relationships, give you enthusiasm and a way of life that is beautiful. And that's my juice of sharing it.
Thank you, Kika. I love seeing how alive you get as you describe it. And clearly you have a passion to help men walk this path and take this on. I think that the men who follow through on checking out tantricsexsecrets.com and all that you have to offer are going to be very well served. So thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.